sailing all the time, just sailing my own ship.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's terrible though. I'm also in charge of the HR department. No, try to be very fair. Just hire all guys. Kidding. No. Yeah. Oh man. Well, let's try to keep it upbeat today.
Yeah.
You know?
Really nervous.
I am too. Every time. You a little nervous?
How many times have you done this now?
I don't know. I think we got like 20 of them out there.
We started August last year.
Oh, really?
So like one on maybe almost a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
You still get nervous every time?
Oh yeah, I get excited.
Excited.
Excited,
Maybe
like
excited.
it is, yeah.
nervous. I got you.
Yeah. I try not to wait a few days to watch though.
All right, go for it.
All right. Welcome to Cabinetry 102. I have another special guest with me. This is the third time Will Bruinsma from Sierra has been on with us. We are going to be talking about supply and demand today. He's going to give us some briefings on why the cost of raisins have dried up, why balloon prices have increased, and why TP has touched a new bottom. Will, thank you.
You're switching the topic here on me all of a sudden.
No, we're really here to talk
Get this
about.
out of here.
Yeah, get that Bible out of here. No, we're really here to talk about wood products and why the cost has increased so much. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me once again.
I love it.
I think everybody who's in this building products industry has seen it here recently and over the course of the last year where prices have gone up. Availability has been a little bit more scarce, but the whole wood products and construction industry has really seen it in general. OSB is super high. 2x4s, you see it in that. You see it in solid lumber. You see it in composite panels, melamine, particle board, MDF. It seems like everything is just on the rise, and availability is getting tighter. Lead times are further out, and it's a real challenge for us in this industry right now to navigate. And as a distributor and supplier, we've got the task of making sure people like you are able to keep jobs on target and keep providing those beautiful products that Abacus does.
Thank you.
And it's sometimes a challenge though.
No, we certainly appreciate all the updates. I mean, here I am talking about supply and demand when I easily failed my economics class in college, unless it was for Ted Majeski. Thank you. But let's kind of talk about the beginning. Let's start at the beginning of why all of this is happening without just saying it's just COVID.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different factors that have played into it. Supply and demand. Demand has stayed very high, while supply hasn't been as great a spot. Yes, COVID is due to part of that with labor shortages and some shutdowns that happened previously earlier in the year with some parts of the country not being able to operate as essential.
I know both of us are Michiganders. Michigan wasn't considered, logging wasn't considered an essential business, so that was kind of ceased. Same with Pennsylvania and a few other states across the nation.
Yeah, so there's been challenges like that. There's been some mills that have had fires or issues there, which has caused some demand to go to some of the other mills that were already producing.
In Canada, the MDF
mill. So there's been fires there. There's been on the solid lumber side of it, a few years ago, lumber prices were low and there was less demand than before, and so there was lumber mills that had shut down, and those mills haven't came back online, but demand is now higher, so it's caused kind of a squeeze on that. There's also been
transportation challenges.
Transportation challenges for sure.
Yes.
Costs on freight have skyrocketed across the board, whether it's trucks, whether it's import containers, rail, everything's gone up. So we think about all the products that we use. Every single one of them's gone up in price, and it hasn't just affected wood products. A lot of metal has gone up too.
Glass, we mentioned earlier.
I know insulation costs have gone up, so it's really hitting the construction side of things really hard right now, and you have to be ever vigilant to make sure you're on top of it and aware of it and keeping up with it.
And how frequently are you guys seeing these changes?
I'm not kidding you, we get price increases on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and have for the last 6 months.
And you guys have you've been passing those down to us, and we certainly appreciate the updates on them. I know for the bidding process that everybody has to go through, it's nice to keep those updates in mind, especially when you don't necessarily, you see them, but you really feel them.
Yes, right. I mean, that's what we try to do is communicate those things so that there's no surprises, making everybody aware. And that's kind of what we're trying to do today, right?
Absolutely.
Is making sure everybody's aware that, you know, what's going on in the market, and it's our responsibility to do that, right?
I like it. I certainly appreciate that. Let's talk about some of the actual products that we see, or maybe the end user would happen to work with a little bit more, like the maples of the world. The increase there, I think we were talking about a 27% increase on just simple maple. White oak has gone up about 22%.
Yeah, and that's in the last 6 months.
In the last 6 months, for
yeah,
sure.
if we look back even further from where it was a year ago, it's even higher, right? So,
yes.
Yeah, we see weekly increases. You know, the hot species right now, it's poplar for all your paint grade stuff. A lot of it.
And that has increased by 20% alone.
Walnut and white oak, which, you know, what percentage of that work that Abacus does is those
we
three
do a
things,
lot of
right?
white oak, and so does Louis Vuitton, by the way.
Yeah.
White oak, the 22% there, and the walnut 17%. But I know we touched a little bit about the particle board and OSB, but that has gone up probably the most significant amount, which is about 60% in the last 6 months, and that's something really hard to swallow. What I did find was really interesting was laminate has also increased.
Yeah. Laminate has, edge banding has, so it's hitting the plastic side of things too. And it seems like no sector of the construction industry has been immune. So,
do we see this going away, you think? Or
no, not really. I've talked to MDF mills, particle board mills. Particle board hasn't been quite hit as hard, but lumber mills, and they expect this market to continue for, you know, through the end of summer. So it doesn't look like there's any end in sight.
So corporate buyers for a lot of this stuff are basically advising everybody to maintain this price increase in the back of their mind until probably midsummer.
Yeah, and things will probably continue to go up, quite honestly.
Great.
So, yeah.
Man, so we don't see a change in the future until about midsummer, and we can probably do another briefing back then.
And who knows, maybe the update then will be that it's going to continue to happen, or maybe things level off. But the near future, the next 3-4 months, it looks like there's no changes in what's going to be happening.
So planning wise, I think, I know we're not really advice people on the show by any means. I wouldn't take advice from myself.
I could use some life advice.
Yeah. Don't cook bacon naked.
Duly noted.
There's a tip for you. But yeah, so for the next 6 months, it's just something to keep in the back of your mind for people going out there doing home projects, for builders doing bids, architects, everything else. And I mean, hopefully we'll see something come down in 2022, but for the foreseen future, demand is still high and supply is very low.
Which is really good,
Yeah.
honestly, right? I mean,
it's not a bad problem
the
to have.
residential market is still busy. Single family home building is staying busy. Colorado, it's the same thing. So, I mean, it's a challenge to navigate some of these things, but it's a really encouraging thing too.
Yeah.
That things are staying so busy, especially, you know, in the middle of this pandemic. I mean, residential and you know, the construction industry has been one thing that has stayed really, really steady for the most part. There's been some blips here and there, but overall it's stayed strong, which has been really good.
Did you see any lulls for you guys in the Sierra world as far as across the board or anything dipping or since kind of COVID broke out?
When COVID first happened, there was a lot of, I guess, unknowns, and there was a little bit of that, but since then, you know, things have stayed really steady for us, and in fact, lately gotten very busy. So
that's good. It's good to hear. So at least then we can end things kind of on a positive note. Things are still busy out there. The world is still buying stuff, and yes, demand is high and supply is low. Yes, I think I nailed it.
You did?
I'm gonna call my professor.
You should.
Yeah, Dr. Jim Gale. I love that, man. Awesome. Well, do we have any questions out there? Okay. Well, Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it, and we will see you in 2 weeks. We're off for St. Patrick's Day. Go green.
What's your plan for St. Patrick's Day?
I have an appointment in the afternoon, and I don't know, and then maybe I'm off to Vegas.
Drinking green beer?
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. It would be unpatriotic.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
So awesome. Well, thank you guys.